I invested $10,000 into a mentorship on credit card, and I didn't even know what APR was. All I knew was I was not staying broke. Here's the story. A couple months ago, my boy invites me out to the event. One of my mentors. He tells me I have to be there. He asked me to commit multiple times. I refuse. I just can't. I can't commit. I don't trust myself to make it there. He asked me one last time. He says, Aiden, either go and say yes, or I don't want you going at all. I say no. Just because I don't know if I'm going to actually be there and commit to going. I don't trust myself fully. I end up saying, yes, I will go. And I will make it after days of contemplation and talking with people. I didn't even tell my mom that I was going across the country from Texas to California because I didn't want the external voice that I was already dealing with to be louder. The day of the flight comes. I'm still working at the same job I'm at right now. I'm serving, right? I tell my manager that, hey, I bought a ticket. He gets mad. I had to deal with that resistance that I didn't tell him beforehand. The day of the flight comes. I almost miss my plane. I sprint there 15 minutes before the plane leaves. I arrived to the terminal. 2 hours before the flight, I was in the gym hitting a workout. I almost missed my plane for a workout after being stuck at a job that I don't really like and going into a place that could actually potentially propel me forwards. Why do I have so much resistance to going to this place? I make it there. It's an emotional roller coaster over the next 3 days of the event. A roller coaster for me. Some of the most interesting emotional scenarios that I come into contact with. Some of the things that I've never done in my life. I just felt so weird and wrong and mad, angry, sad. So many emotions coming up. I also felt inspired. Inspired enough that when I was surrounded by these people, surrounded by this group of individuals that are crushing it, that are in my field of science, which is real estate. And they're CTGs is what they call themselves, creative transactional geniuses. So they provide seller solutions all across the board. I feel inspired enough to buy into, or at least sign up to see if I get into the program. I do end up getting into the program. The next obstacle was, how do I pay for this thing? Because it was a $50K mastermind. Luckily, they have different tiers of the mastermind. I still don't know how I'm going to pay for it, even the lowest tier, which is 10K. Luckily, they have a program of 0% interest that you can sign with credit cards. I buy into this program. I start getting credit cards in the mail once I come back home. I don't tell my dad because my dad knows, I already know what he's going to say. Middle class guy. Credit cards start coming in. He goes, son, I have no choice but to listen, right? I'm living with the man. Son, this is not good. Have I told you the 2 times I went bankrupt because I was spending on my credit? I don't need this right now. I'm already fearful. I'm already dreading what's next. I've already been in the real estate space the last couple months trying to figure things out. No traction, no momentum, poor habits, poor mental health, really. Smoking every day, just trying to numb what really I needed to feel. Avoiding the actual work with the gym. And so when you avoid the certain thing that you need to do and you fill it with other pleasures of life, with other dopamine filling activities, you don't get very far. And that's exactly what I was doing, even when those cards were coming in. My boy who invited me out to the event tells me, Aiden, are you ready to swipe the cards and we'll get you started? We'll get this thing rolling. You need to start. Let's go. No time to waste. My car breaks down before I swipe the card. Engine stops middle of the street when I'm turning. I believe I was turning into the bank to deposit my tips or something. And I was on the phone with my boy who invited me out when this happens. I go, bro, my car just shut down. He goes, are you safe? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, good. We'll figure this out. I end up figuring out what went wrong. I call one of my local homeboys. He picks me up, gives me a ride home, take the car into the shop. Eventually we get it there. It's the oil. I thought, like a dummy, I have not changed the oil, and I checked it. Apparently I didn't check it properly. No oil, no engine. I need a whole new engine. Okay. So now I'm at the point where I already don't have money. I don't have a lot of savings. Now I have to buy a new engine. And I have to make the investment into the program if I want to pursue it. If I want to actually just try and reach for what I think is possible. I go, huh. My dad, I get home, he goes, son, this is not good. This is not good at all. What are you thinking? And he's like, how are you gonna pay for it? I go, credit cards. He shrieks. He goes, I know exactly what's gonna happen. I get my card taken care of. Before I do, I make the investment into the program. I remember this day when I charged the cards. It was the 2 cards that came in. My one credit card I already had, and the other one was 0% interest. One was a 30% APR. I didn't know it at the time what that meant. I'm outside the gym in my dad's car, kind of high like I normally am. I smoke before the workouts, whatever. I used to smoke a lot. I used to smoke all day, every day. Fucking Bob Marley stoner over here with the dreads. I used to have long dreads down to my face, down to my mouth, smoking every day. And he goes, Aiden, are you ready? He calls me up. Let's swipe these cards, man. Let's get you in this program. Let's get it rolling. I go, okay. I'll never be ready. So let's go now. I give him the numbers. The charges come through. The balance grows. The credit balance increases immediately. Stomach feeling drops. You know, those butterfly feelings like, fuck, what did I just do? Next step, get my car back from the shop. I swiped the next credit card that came in because those other two were maxed out now. And then I had to pay, of course, the actual company that allowed all this to happen. You know, they have a certain company they work with to get their clients that don't have the funding the 0% credit interest, and they charge a fee. And I think in total I got like 30K in credit. So I've spent 10K there, like 3.5 on the car, then another three and some change on the actual company. So I'm pretty neck deep in the most I've ever spent. The most I've ever spent. And of course we had, the trip in the last couple of weeks. We had to pay for all that. The rental car, the Airbnb, just everything that comes along with travel. I'm broke as shit. So after I get my car back, I feel better. Not being with the car was ass. Trying to get from to work because I still had the job. I still do have the job as we speak. And then back home, taking rides, taking Ubers, asking my friends like it was high school again because I didn't have a car, couldn't go anywhere, couldn't go to the gym, still smoking, still like just trying to deal with my shit. I remember one day I ran to the gym that's like 5 minutes away, and I felt super good, felt super proud of myself because we still hit that workout, and the workouts were the only thing that kept me sane, even though I still had like bad habits and everything. I had the gym, and that was my escape. It's probably the biggest escape for me is the gym, besides the drugs and everything else. So yeah, I get my car back, and we start grinding for the deal. Still smoking, still doing the thing, and I'm still hearing the doubts, the voices come up, all the above, but at least we're grinding, we're moving. Before I was moving, but it wasn't the same because now I have debt. Now I have to move. Now the job is simply not enough. The income that I'm making at my small server job is just not enough. The bar has been raised immediately in that second that I charged the card, and I felt it. But the shift doesn't happen immediately, it happens over time. What I mean by that is it took about a month or two for that to really settle in, for me to really take a step back and be like, dude, something really has to change here. Or you're just, this is not gonna work. It's just I feel like I'm running in circles here. Besides the fact of me running low on money and me still trying to smoke every day and just live the same life that I was living, and add on to it with the mentorship and the program, it just wasn't conducive. I come across a video, Dropping Weed Gives You Superpowers by John Mark. Took me a couple times. I remember my first time watching it, I was high as fuck. Took me a couple times to watch it. Eventually the message soaked in, and I thought I would just give it a shot. So I dropped smoking habit, which also, because you dropped one habit, means all the other habits get dropped as well. Not as much Netflix, not as much as a unhealthy eating, not as much fucking off every day, not as much needing to come back home and then go back to the office, then going to work, go back home, then maybe take another smoke break at the office or at work, wherever I was, because there's shops everywhere. You can get a buzz anywhere. Everywhere there's THC. Everybody has something. Little dab pen. I always kept that shit. If I didn't have that, that took mental space. No. Once you free up mental space, there becomes more mental space for better things. You have to fill it in. And that's exactly what happened. The dopamine started getting rewired. I started waking up on time, 6 a.m., hitting that morning routine, hitting a cold shower, getting my shit straight, going through the processes, going to the office, putting in the work. Bro, the first couple weeks were ass. And that was the biggest shift, was dropping that negative vice, because it's been with me for so long. But it started with the investment. It started with going out to that event. It started with raising the bar, putting my back against a wall. So once I dropped the habit, the dopamine became more receptive to actual work. Took a couple weeks, but now I can actually, a month or so in, right, of all the healthy habits, waking up on time, doing the morning routine, going to the office, making the calls, and starting to really see some trackable progress here. I can tell you I'm getting my dopamine hits from the natural effort versus just a chemical. And it is a game changer. So after all of that, what I was feeling is now more momentum starting to pick up. What I'm feeling now is a lot more momentum starting to pick up because I'm doing all the positive habits. And that is how the discipline of investing in yourself, of putting your back against a wall, will elevate you and put you in places that you never would think. Because I remember a time a couple years ago, I was telling a friend, a close homie of mine, I would never stop smoking. Why would I? But it wasn't until I put my back against the wall that it shifted the mindset. And so, yeah, um, the the discipline of investing in yourself, of putting faith into yourself, speaking on faith, dude, putting that in, hearing all those negative voices just got so overwhelming. And then me dropping the vice as well, it just became so overwhelming. I seeked God. Literally, I started going to church about 4 or 5 weeks ago with a buddy of mine. I hit him up. I'm like, bro, which church do you go to? Because that shit was just too loud, bro. That shit was too loud. I didn't have a good relationship with God. And the mentors that I invested with, their group, it's a kingdom based community where they talk in prayer, and it's a commonality among the community. Being in that community was some of the only times where I prayed. On those calls were some of the only times I prayed. And given the fact that he was my homie, so my homeboy that I grew up with, and I know he's achieved the result that I desire. So I put the faith in him, but I also had to put the faith in God, because it wasn't just enough to put faith in him. I didn't have faith in myself. I started putting my faith in God. And that was a game changer as well. Dropping the vice, replacing it for faith, replacing it for reading the word and going to church. Dude. And then the book, The Power of Positive Thinking, came into my life. All right. And it literally came into my life. There was a gentleman I was serving who was the owner of like Piranha. And he said, bro, I'm going to bring you this book. You got to read it. It's absolutely changed my life. The Power of Positive Thinking. And that same week, the boys that I invested with, brothers that I've invested with, they also brought up the book Power of Positive Thinking. And then I started reading it. I started going to church more. I dropped the habit, right? It became easier. It was too overwhelming. And I'm not kidding. It's been tough, but if you're making an investment in yourself, you're going to start growing that faith within yourself. You're going to put your back against the wall and you're going to have to push through, or you'll stay stuck forever and ever and ever. How long have you been at the same spot? How long have you been living in the same cycle, making the same income? I mean, maybe you've been elevating and continuing to elevate every single year. Like some of my friends, I've seen them, they surpassed me beyond measure. And I am still stationary and stuck in the same place. Why is that? Why did I have so much resistance in getting into a room that would excel that? Because of old thought patterns, old beliefs, old limiting beliefs. Why did I stay stuck in a vice so long that restricted my dopamine and what I could achieve on a daily basis? Why am I surrounding myself with people like this on a daily basis and getting just cheap fucking dopamine hits? And then I feel satiated and satisfied because the bar is not raised. Once I raise the bar, everything changes. And you have to physically do this, like not but you have to do it for yourself, mentally and physically. If you're overweight, raise the fucking bar. It's disgusting, right? It is. If you're broke, raise the fucking bar. That's disgusting. You can't be one and the other, bro. Both are disgusting. Both, you know, your life is going to be so much better, whatever which one it is. So, raising the bar, raising the standard, and applying the discipline in your life to do so will absolutely change yourself. Mindset, habits, nutrition, and training. Those are 4 words that guy John Mark, who I attribute, I've been doing, I took on his morning routine. I also took on the, you know, his advice about smoking and whatnot. It was a game changer. He goes about the 5-4-5 method in the morning, where you write 5 goals, you have 4-step morning routine, then you have 5 steps to achieve those goals. My mentors I'm invested with, they have a similar morning process where they probably they go about their day about the 5 midas, most important daily action steps, right? And it's a commonality to a framework that successful people have to go about their day. It's a structure in your day, it's a structure in your life, and they also raise the standard. It's their mindset first. It's the mindset of me swiping that card. Okay, something has to change here. Okay, I got to raise the standard. Okay, what do I need to do? Mindset, mentally. I need to work on my mind so I can become the person who can hold the success. I need to work on my mind so I can have and hold the habits without going back and defaulting into the old patterns. I need to work on my mind first, mindset first, habits second. Habits. Am I smoking every day? Am I burning my fucking dopamine and getting it cheaply through a paid chemical? And it makes me satiated and it makes me feel good? Or am I drinking? Or am I watching Netflix on a daily basis? Or am I jerking off? Or am I just fucking off in general? Am I satiated in some form or fashion? And is that satiation actually benefiting me? Are my habits challenging me? Are they building me? Mindset, habits, nutrition, and what I eat. What am I eating on a daily basis? Am I consuming fast food, ultra processed bullshit that's keeping me at a lower vibrational energy, lower vibrational level? Or am I consuming raw, real nutrients that's straight from earth that God put here to fuel my body? Am I putting the proper macros in my system? And am I eating the right protein? Am I eating like I don't track my macros. I started, but I'm inconsistent with it. And I understand it would help if I did. But before, I was trying to hit a 4,000 calorie goal, and it just felt very forced. And so I took a step back from that recently. But I still eat mainly whole foods. I never eat the fast food because I know it's bullshit. And if I do, I understand I'm sacrificing the future self for the present pleasure. And I understand I'm probably gonna feel a little shit. And I'm gonna have to fight through that the next day. Am I eating good, healthy foods? Mindset, habits, nutrition, and training. Am I training every day? Am I going hard in the gym? Am I pushing myself every day? Every day. No skipping. There's exercise in every day. For me, I personally like the gym. Whether am I working out hard, or am I just going for a recovery day like I did this Sunday? Before, I just work out hard every day of the month, bro, just because I was, dude, like, you gotta understand, this month it's hard when you first start this journey. It's not easy when you're building a business and you have a job and you're dropping your vices and you're going to church and you're going to the gym, you're trying to eat right. The shit is hard. Everything tries to pull you off course. You cannot let it, though. You're going to build so much faster if you don't pull off course. Stay on track. You know what you need to do. You know it's mindset, habits, nutrition, and training. You know that is going to elevate yourself. So why are you going to go against that? You can't, because if you do, you're going to have that little voice in your head that says, oh, I knew it. I knew it. You can't do it. But you can, and you know it. You know it. You can. And bro, if I could do it, you could do it. If I could do it, you could do it. I'm telling you, like, you're going to elevate so much faster once you understand this and you implement it, and you have the right system to go about your day, the right nutrition to go about your day. You're just going to grow, and you're going to start noticing it, and others are going to start noticing it. You're going to rewire your dopamine receptors to actually feel from effort and be fueled from genuine, like, accomplishment. And that's how it's going to take you to the next level. You're going to seek out God just off of your own self, because you know it's going to help. I mean, maybe not off your own self. Again, I was in a community where it's kingdom driven. These men prayed on almost every call. Almost every call. Like, they brought up God in some sense. And so that, just being exposed to that even just a little bit. Now in high school, I was exposed to it by other friends and other people, but I just wasn't ready. I just wasn't mentally receptive to it. It just wasn't appealing to me, because I was so entrapped in other negative vices and other negative things that pull me away from the word, that pull me away from being on track with God, because I probably knew at a subconscious level that this is just not the way. I just felt like shit. Why would I go seek God when I feel like shit? Why would he make me feel like shit? Why? I mean, if he put weed on the earth, if he put drinking on the earth, why can't I do it? If he put all these other things, porn and sex and whatever it is, why can't I indulge? But no, bro, that's not the way. You have to have self-control. God gave you the freedom to do all these things, but with freedom, with that power, it comes responsibility, and it's within your realm to control it, to wield it, to have power and dominion over it. It's your kingdom. You're building your kingdom, your life, on a daily basis, whether you know it or not. So it's your job to seek it out and live it truly and fully. And if you're not, you're doing a disservice to your bloodline. You're doing a disservice to the people around you who look up to you. The random kid in the gym who looks up to you or just sees you on the street and younger than you and thinks you're a cool guy. Bro, you're doing him a disservice by living mediocrely. You're doing your future family a disservice, your current family a disservice. Why are you doing you a disservice? Elevate yourself. You know you can go harder. You know you can do better. Why aren't you? There's always another level. There's always another level we can get to. And it's going to take more effort, more pain. It's not going to get easier. Being on this righteous path is not easy. On the personal development and doing everything right is not easy. Escaping the 9 to 5 is not glamorous. Entrepreneurship is not glamorous. People make it up to be glamorous. Building the body, it's painful, it's ugly. Making money, bro, especially if you're coming from limiting beliefs and you have to break chains, generational chains, is not pretty, but it's worth it. Making that investment is worth it in yourself. Swiping that 10K, swiping that card and investing that 10K is worth it. And if you made it this long in the video, you're already in that 1% of people that have the attention span to watch something fully and actually devote yourself. So you're not stupid. But you know you got to push. You got to push. You got to make it. You have to. You have to. You cannot stay stuck in the same cycles. I've been stuck in the same cycle the last 4 or 5 years in the same income level. And why is that? Why is that? Why have you or the people around you been stuck in the same cycle? All right, that is my cue. Go ahead, turn it back on. That is my cue. You're worth the investment. This is your sign. If you've been wanting to invest in yourself, if you've been wanting to make a jump into something, it's not that you can't afford it. It's that you're not willing or you don't trust it. You don't trust yourself to put the effort necessary into whatever it is you're going to do. Follow for truth, not trends. Stay dangerous. I'll see you in the next one.